Yay!
All right.
All right.
Yeah. I think I'm good. Hello and welcome everyone to today's News Tonight, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests and our lovely patrons, along with our awesome YouTube audience to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by my good friends and GVG co-founders Ash Paulson and Steve Bowling, along with our very special guest, Twitch streamer illuMattea. How you doing, Mattea?
Hi, I'm doing really well. I'm glad to be back. So thank you for having me again.
We had you in the old times where we didn't have these live for everyone. Now we got to get you back. Now it's live for everyone. We don't have to worry about recordings and all that. It's nice.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I have a better mic now, and my setup's a little bit different. So,
ooh, fancy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this on a Black Friday sale back in Black Friday. I can talk. And I love it. I've had it for several months. So, and yeah, I've just made some other changes as well. So
nice.
I just love your whole background.
Thank you.
I love it. It's so shiny and sparky and illuminated, which is perfect, of course.
Yeah, that's the theme I was going for.
Of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. Well, unfortunately, it sounds like Steve is muted.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, he is?
We're all good. That's according to Geeky Griffin. So thank you. Hello to the patron chat. But
Minion
hopefully
sabotage.
Steve will be fixed here soon. In the meantime...
Oh, there we go. Hi.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
In the meantime, we should give a special thanks to our sponsor today, The Game Orb. And The Game Orb is a fledgling channel that has focused mostly on Nintendo content until recently. While they're still running Let's Plays of Nintendo games like Splatoon 2 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, going forward, they're also covering games on the Xbox Series X like Portal Still Alive as part of a fresh daily upload schedule. So be sure to subscribe to The Game Orb at the link in the description, and let's continue to push them towards 350 subscribers. Still working our way there, doing all right. But yes, check them out. We'll have a link in the chat as well, which I think Ash is taking care of.
I'm posting it right now.
31 more, folks.
Yeah, let's show them the power of the GB gang. Push them up to 350, 400 subs, 450. Just keep on going. And I just posted links to both channels in the chat right now.
Yes,
I'm going to pin them. So
I should also mention that they do want to promote their friend's YouTube channel, Galactic Reaper, and as we said, you can find their links in the description as well. So definitely check them out. Very much appreciated all their support over all this time. It is quite impressive, quite crazy, but it's appreciated all the same. So yeah, the crazy thing is, before we jump into the news and all that, I do want to mention, especially like Bolt Mouse X mentioning, I can't wait for Blaster Master 03 next week. What the hell is up with next week? Because we got The World Ends With You. We got
Blaster Master 03?
Yeah, Blaster Master 03.
Wow.
Wait, I didn't even know there was a third game. I thought there were only two.
Yeah, but it's the third game's coming out. Yeah, coming out next week.
Oh my god!
Along with we got Chris Tales, which looks fantastic. We got, of course, World Ends With You and Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. That's 4 major games. Both.
I didn't remember when that was coming out. The Great Ace Attorney. So.
Yeah, and that's on top of Zelda coming out this week. And last week we got Monster Hunter Stories 2. Like, there's a ton of games in July. What the hell?
Just been playing a little bit of Zelda.
Oh, I was saying to you guys before that I put in like 15 hours into Skyward Sword already. So
I am about jealous.
Third of the maybe a quarter of the way done by now.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I mean, I initially, like, when I first played Skyward Sword back in 2011, I hated the motion controls, and it just I just stopped playing after like I think I got up to the desert area, and then I stopped, and now with the different controls with the button controls, and the motion controls are also a little bit improved. I don't know. I just like I'm enjoying myself a lot more now, and the quality of life improvements are really, really great. So
they really are. And
Skyward Sword.
I played a little bit of it over the weekend as well, and I am really struck by just how much the painterly art style really benefits from the HD treatment, and not to say nothing of 60 FPS. Like I shouldn't say shocked, because Skyward Sword always looked nice, but it was just so held back visually by the Wii's limitations. And God, like Steve, I know you and I have the same TV. We're both playing on an LG CX, and this game looks gorgeous on that thing. Like, it really looks beautiful, and I'm actually finding myself a lot more excited about replaying Skyward Sword than I thought I would be.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
It is very weird.
It's a really interesting remake because in some ways it is incredibly familiar. Like, once I started, once you get through the tutorial, which is a bit long, and into the game proper, and you're actually exploring around with the Master Sword, I had these memories because I don't know about y'all, but back when the Wii was a thing, I always held the Wii remote in the recommended position, like arm straight forward, that they showed. And so Link would run around like that, like shield in one hand and sword just pointing forward. It's like,
my arms got so tired just from doing that. And I think that's what.
Okay, there.
Yeah, sorry. I feel like that's just what made my gameplay experience like not as fun, is because the motion controls are the biggest gimmick about Skyward Sword, and there's a lot of emphasis on doing things with especially because it implements the Wii Motion Plus. But yeah, I'm glad that like this game got re-released, because I know like it's a lot more accessible to people now to play, especially those who are disabled, who cannot play with motion controls for whatever reason. So
right.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I'll have more thoughts on it on the channel, hopefully by the end of the week, but I'm wondering if that'll be enough time. I'm going to try.
Than you remember.
Long game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But definitely a lot of fun. And I wish I could get to 15 hours. Yesterday was my daughter's birthday, so of course I wasn't going to be like, Daddy's playing Zelda. I put the games down for the day.
We should play Zelda on your birthday. That's
it would be a great gift for you, Eleanor, watching Dad play Zelda all day long.
Well, it was 90 degrees out on Saturday, and I didn't want to go outside because it was so hot. So
it's way too hot.
I mean, Zelda games are a great excuse to stay inside. I don't need it. Could be perfect weather outside in Arizona, and I'd be like, no, I'm staying in. There's a new Zelda to play.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, one of my best friends tried to get me to come out with him and his family. Like, they're big Pokemon Go players. And he's like, dude, you should come out. I know you don't play that much anymore, but come join us at Pokemon Go Fest. And I'm like, dude.
Oh, yeah, that was this weekend.
It's like, and it's like 86 degrees here in LA over the weekend. And I'm like, no, I'm not setting foot outside in that kind of weather, man. I know. No, it's bad. You know me, I'm heat sensitive. But I get that that's nothing compared to what you go through in Arizona. I totally get that.
I was about to say it was about 30 degrees warmer than that this weekend.
No, for sure. But for me, anything above 80 is like, no.
Somebody else that mentioned that I follow on Twitter, I think they live in Phoenix, and they said there was a warning from the government: don't go outside for these next 2 days because of the air pollution. It's just how crazy hot it is.
That is 100% a regular occurrence out here.
Oh,
I mean, I think I told. Go ahead. Sorry, Mattea.
Yeah, our weather here in the Northeast, like New York, where I live, it's been absolutely wild. Like, we've been having like days in the 90s, and then there's thunderstorms, and then there's like days when it's in the 60s. It's so weird. Like, I've never experienced like a summer where the weather was so like all over the place. So
it's rough.
Yeah,
I can't complain too much.
I will say y'all have in New York like a different sense of extreme weather. Like, I've been to New York in January, and like an idiot from Arizona, I was like, all right, like a hoodie and some gloves and I'm good. And I walked and I was like, good Lord. Like, I've told this story before, but I had to like make a mental map of like where coffee shops were, so that every so often I could like duck in and get a hot drink, just so I could keep making my walk across to the Nintendo store.
Yeah.
I will never forget the day I had to go to the Sushi Striker event that they were holding in New York. And it was, on one hand, it was awesome because they took us to an actual sushi place that had one of those trays that go around at all times. And that's where they held the event.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Those are really cool.
Yeah.
First time experience that. Nintendo paid for all, so I was loading up on sushi. It was cool.
That's nice.
Free sushi is the best kind of sushi.
I mean, I'm not even a big sushi guy. I wasn't even a big sushi guy at the time, but I was still loading up on it.
I mean, free food. Why not?
Exactly. But it also, in order to counterbalance this, rained like crazy, like downpour to the point. And awesome. I did not bring an umbrella because it was not raining back home when I got on the train, and it was just. I was drenched. I was completely soaked through by the time I reached there. And it was still going by the time I left. I had to actually stop at a store and try to hunt down an umbrella so I would not be as wet. And I was I'm basically trying to protect the equipment at this point. It was rough.
Oh, see, you're describing what sounds like an awesome day to me. You know me, I love the rain. And I also want to give some love to Soulcaster here in the YouTube chat. Winter is greater than summer, all day, every day. Hell yes, Team Winter. Yeah. Winter all the way, my favorite season of the year. Fall and winter are my favorite seasons, but cold weather over hot weather all day, every day, baby.
I don't think I even know what those seasons are anymore.
It's true in Arizona. I don't blame you. Oh
yeah, I believe.
Yeah, it's really. I know. Like I said, Steve, I went to school for one semester at ASU, and like in October,
I'm sorry,
even at 2 a.m, it would be like over 100 degrees at like 2 a.m, and I'm like, what? This makes no sense. I never wanted to go outside.
Yeah,
How about the people in the UK, by the way, who have no AC?
That's right. That's a thing, and they've been having like really bad heat waves the last couple of years, so it's rough.
Good Lord, I can't imagine that.
I also agree with Amy. Team Autumn. Autumn's my favorite time of the year too.
I do love autumn and fall. And
those trees.
Yeah. I've only seen autumn on TV. Like, I don't know what autumn is.
That doesn't exist.
They're like, the leaves change colors. I'm like, what leaves? There are no leaves here. Everything's in flames.
Oh, no.
Good point. The Deputy makes a good point in our YouTube chat saying the colder it is, the more stylish you get to look. And that is true for most people, but I have no style. I do have grace, but I don't have any style. And I wear shorts and a t-shirt even in cold weather. So there's like, I don't get to ever like build up a stylish look because anything more than one layer for me is too many layers. So, and yes, I'm glad you guys got that little reference there.
Yeah, I'm like the complete opposite. Like, I hate cold weather. I was born in January and I hate cold weather. So like,
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like I like warmer weather, but not like super hot. So, like just like enough to wear like a sweater. So you know,
that makes sense. Well, we should probably go ahead and get over to the news. But before that, we got a few super chats here. And first up is from Alan Wilkinson with a £2 donation saying, shout out to Joe Saraby and Marty, his girlfriend, or should I say fiance, because during Pokemon Go Fest, which you guys brought up, our good friend Saraby, we haven't had him on yet, but I have had discussions with him, and he's a great guy. We all know him. He proposed to his longtime girlfriend. So
wow.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
He had the ring in a love ball.
Which is,
so I mean,
that's
extremely on brand.
That's adorable.
Yeah. It is.
They are an adorable couple. And I already passed along my personal congratulations to Joe, but couldn't be happier for them. They've been together a long time. And honestly, I when I first met them, I just kind of assumed they already were either engaged or married just because it just be like that sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very happy
for
both
about
of them. Yeah, they definitely do. They're gonna be be one of those couples that's 80 and still together. I'm sure of it.
I told him if they ever have a kid, and I don't, who knows if they're gonna have a kid or not. I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't even know if they want them. But they got to do their baby announcement when it's born by having the egg hatching animation from Pokemon.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's true.
That would be so great.
Oh, I just feel like there are so many jokes that are like Pokemon jokes that are right for raising a kid. Like, when if they have a kid, if their kid, when they get old enough to go to the daycare, there's a whole Pokemon daycare set of jokes you can make.
Oh, God.
There's just so many that you can do. Yeah. But no, obviously, congratulations from all of us. That is awesome to hear. Yeah. I actually had not heard until now, so this is news to me. And congrats to both of them. That's awesome.
Nice. Next up is Multi-Kratos 300 with a $5 donation saying, I'm loving Skyward Sword HD so far, but I hope they would have added a left-handed option for the game.
Same.
That would have been cool.
Oh,
but...
yes.
Agreed.
I am left-handed. Yeah, I wish that they did.
Same.
So, yeah. Oh,
wow.
Lefties
unite. I would have been, but I was...
Lefties unite.
I would have been, but I was denied, so I think I've told that story before.
Yeah,
right.
I rember that.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning that, yeah.
Every time that I mess up a swing in the game, I'm like, is that just because I'm using my right hand? Like, am I too unstable with this thing?
Are you playing with motion controls?
I am. I've been playing mostly like Joy-Con and I tried. So John kind of encapsulated how I feel about it perfectly in a single tweet earlier today, but it's not so much that I dislike the button controls, but more that I really hate losing control of the camera. I'm like, it's so nice to have full camera control. And I'm like, I guess I'll just...
because like you have the... you could press L and use the right joystick.
You have to hold L.
But it's like just... it's a lot.
It's weird.
So, it is weird.
I don't really enjoy holding L to control the camera. So
it really so far too. Instinctively takes me out of the game. Like, because I instinctively, like, when I have button controls on, I just move the right stick thinking the camera's going to move, and then Link takes his sword out, and I'm like, that's not what I meant. And I can't retrain myself now.
I'm just hoping that we can get like custom button mapping for like a Zelda game eventually. So I think that would be cool.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Would be nice.
Next up is Jaden Buck with a $5 donation says, here in Minnesota, the weather is whatever the heck it wants to be. There's some places like that. It just
fair enough.
Can't make it fun.
Yeah.
I'll carry Elric with a $2 donation says, witness me. Witnessed.
You have been witnessed officially.
Thank you to Alkari and Jane for those donations, of course. And then Mwape Mulenga with a $5 donation saying, kid evolves into teenager. Teenager wants to learn cuss out parents. Will you allow them to learn it? No.
Yeah. Right. No.
You push the B and you knock that out.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for your donations.
Exactly. And thank you, Claxon, with a $4.99 donation, who made sure to save theirs for before our next story, saying, factoring this story in, Square is hiring people not in their prime. And let's go ahead and bring up our first story of the day, as it's a doozy. So, Square Enix accidentally leaked the Neo The World Ends With You 10 days before release. It was discovered that if you pre-ordered the physical copy of The World Ends With You on Switch from the Square Enix store, it would basically come out to $80 as shown by... Well, it's because the Square Enix store has a heck of a shipping rate because it's $15 for shipping.
Yikes.
It's just absurd.
So $80 to get it from there, so it's already more expensive. But when you did that, you would then get an email with a digital code. Type in the digital code into the Switch, and all of a sudden you have the digital version of the Neo The World Ends With You to play right now.
Oh my God.
You got to watch out for spoilers. You got to watch out for all that stuff out there. And, of course, somebody has already leaked the ROM online.
Because, of course, they have.
Because, of course, they have.
That sucks.
Yeah, oh my God.
Well, hold on. It sucks, but it's also kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. I did this. I totally did this. Derek did this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I can have a review decently on time now. And considering I still, have it, and I've talked to other journalists who have gotten the game early, and I'm not going to break their embargo, but let's just say this is a meaty game, much more meaty than the first one, from what I've heard. I'm not going to go into specifics, but it is huge.
Yeah.
I don't feel too bad about the game leaking because it leaked in an official way. And it wasn't like somebody stole the game and uploaded it. Square just let people play the game early by mistake. That is on them. And it's not like it's not like a loophole where Square got ripped off here. They got their money for the game. And then people got the digital copy. So
they might have gotten more just because of all the shipping they got. I don't know how many people would typically use that because the shipping is awful.
My main question here is how is Square going to handle it? But the weird thing is, as far as I know, because I did play some of the game and I won't talk about it at all, just because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And Derek's going to do a review. Watch his review. I literally won't talk about it before then. So people got the game, they paid for it. So I don't feel bad about people getting their hands on it because they did it completely above board. But what I wonder is there are tools that Square could use to make the game not work for those of us that did pay and got it. They could turn access to the game off until release date. They could, in theory, take it completely away from those of us that took advantage of this. I mean, it would... Right. I mean, because it's clearly a mistake. I don't know.
You cannot do this any longer. By the end of the day, that was not even before that. It only was up for a few hours.
Yeah, and Rob Arman X is correct. If you're in airplane mode, of course they can't do that. But it's a weird situation. Like I admittedly don't have a lot of skin in the game. I bought it, and if they take away my digital copy and ship me a physical later, all right, cool, whatever. It was fun while it lasted. But I am curious. Like I talked to someone in Games PR about this today, just because they're the ones that usually send us all codes for stuff, right? And I wonder, like I asked them, is there a way that you could rescind access to a game you've sent me? Like, can you take it away from me? And they're like, yeah, of course I can. Like, I can make it stop working. We don't do that because so for those of you that don't know, when a company sends you a game to review, you usually just get to keep the game. Like they don't say, oh, your review's done, yoink, and then you can buy it if you want. Like they just let you keep it. But in theory, on most major platforms, they could totally do that. They could say like, oh, GVG published their video, take the review copy away, and if they still want it, they can go buy one. It's just a nice thing they do that they don't. Also, probably just a lot of work, and it would be pretty petty. It's like
I feel like the blowback for them doing that probably wouldn't be worth the level of damage control.
They might get blowback, but it's also completely within the right. Like if they did that to me, like it sucks that I won't have the review much closer to the actual release date, but it's also I'm still getting the physical versions. It would much more suck if I paid for it and they took away my digital copy and all of a sudden I don't have the game anymore. It's like, what the hell?
So
I'm kind of feeling what Killamox is saying here in our live audience patron chat, where they say they feel bad for the employee at Square responsible for this. And that's where I'm feeling. Like, Steve, I totally agree with you. This is obviously leaked in an official above-the-belt capacity. So, that part, I don't feel bad for Square as a corporate entity. But I sure do feel bad for whomever's getting punished for making the mistake at Square, because it also did, because people are people, lead to the game getting pirated and uploaded for everybody early. And so that's why I feel bad for whoever made the mistake, because clearly it was an innocent mistake.
So I hope whoever it is at Square that is in charge of these types of decisions realizes that the game was going to get pirated no matter what. Every Switch game is out there if you look. So, it's not necessarily out there by virtue of the fact that it was early. It's out there just because someone got their hands on the files, right? Like, I can tell you in the past, when Switch pirating first became a thing, and I was trying to understand the community behind it and how it works. I mean, I've seen Nintendo first-party stuff get leaked just by folks that know how to do these types of things literally pulling the game from the eShop. Like going to the official eShop server and knowing where to look and grabbing games from it. So it would have happened. That's all I'm saying. And I think what is more damning or damaging to the person or persons responsible for this is that Square essentially, those of us that did this got a 2-for-1 deal for now, right? Like we bought the game once, but got it twice technically.
They used to offer that sort of thing otherwise. movies used to buy the Blu-ray and get the digital copy. Like, why can't we do that?
Yeah, that'd be nice. It would help justify eShop prices being so damn high. Like, I still I cannot get behind anybody who defends the price of eShop games being equivalent to that of a retail product. Like,
yeah, I agree.
That is a difficult stance to take. Like, you don't have to manufacture or ship anything, so you should give me like $10 off. I'm just saying.
Be nice, but
yeah.
For those of you excited for The World Ends With You, because we've been waiting a long time for a sequel, definitely avoid spoilers. I have not seen many online. I've not seen a lot of stuff go there, but it just might be my circles. Who knows what'll end up out there? But
right.
But
I still gotta play the first one.
You should.
Yeah,
it's good. It is a good time, but I will not be like Steve. I won't be saying anything about it until my review's out, because launch day, and review's not quite ready, because I got a lot to get through. But
I've only played the demo myself, but I like what I played of the demo so far. It's just fantastic. One of those games I don't know how I would possibly have time to like to play it.
Yeah,
too much to play.
Mwape says, Mattea, avoid the Switch version. You can play the Switch version as long as you play it in handheld mode. With controller, there's some pins and some attacks in there that are a real pain to pull off.
Is it like easy to like play? Like, accessibility wise, is the game pretty accessible in handheld mode? Because like I know like some Switch games, the text boxes are so freaking tiny on handheld mode.
It's been a while, and I can't remember.
I usually just play my Switch games stock because my eyesight is so bad that I can't play a lot of games in handheld mode. So
in that case, it might be best for you to just, if you're interested, because you won't have that issue with the sequel. If you're interested in the sequel, I don't even know if you have to play the first one yet to understand everything. Based on the demo, so far it seems like it's pretty self-contained. Well, not self-contained, but it catches up with what you need to know.
Right.
That said, an anime was just released. You can just watch the anime. And
that's right. I forgot about the anime.
It's not the best way to encounter the story, but it'll get you the gist of what you need to know.
I forgot about the anime.
Right. Yeah. Didn't they specifically say that Neo: The World Ends With You follows on from the anime?
I think so.
Which is weird. I wonder why specifically they would do that. But
I don't know, but I definitely know it should probably build off of Final Mix, because there's some interesting stuff in there. But we'll see what ends up happening.
Oh, Rob Arman X said it's not nearly as bad as Fire Emblem Three Houses, the text size. Oh, that's good to know.
Good.
Well, that's good.
Yep. All right.
Nice.
Well, that was one thing that happened to Square Enix, but we should also
God.
Well, there's not more, but in this case, but there's another dispute that's happening where Nintendo actually commented on a rumor. It's unbelievable. Let's get that story. So, a report came out from Bloomberg that the Switch OLED, only cost $10 more to produce, instead of, despite being priced at $350. Nintendo, who never comments on rumors, despite no matter how crazy they might be, Nintendo just does not comment on them, actually spoke out on this one and said a news report on July 15th, 2021 claimed that the profit margin of the Nintendo Switch OLED model would increase compared to the Nintendo Switch. To ensure correct understanding among our investors and customers, we want to make clear that the claim is incorrect. We also want to clarify that we just announced the Switch OLED will launch October 2021 and have no plans for launching any other model at this time. So basically, they're like, we're not making as much as you think we are. You might claim we are after this, and that is, the fact that they actually commented on it is the story here, not the fact that it's not making as much. Because according to Zooj X, Daniel Ahmad, the profit margin on OLED is actually lower than the standard Switch. So.
Okay. Interesting.
There you go.
I mean, clearly this ruffled enough feathers over there at NCL that they felt they had to, respond to this, which, I can see why. Damage control, PR, that's just kind of like the usual thing. But as you said, Derek, Nintendo doesn't really comment officially on rumors very often. So for them to have commented here clearly means that they really, really, really wanted to push back against that claim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, it makes sense to me a big ass 720p OLED panel is a weird part. Like, people wouldn't, I mean, think about, like, this is my phone. It has an OLED panel that is much smaller than the one in the Switch and much higher resolution, like way higher. Right. And I think people don't usually pair like OLED with really low resolution. So getting a manufacturer to create that part for you probably doesn't come, you know, if you compare it to a phone, you're probably not thinking in the right ballpark. But yeah, it is. I can also see the other side. Like, the CPU in the Switch is 7 years old. So it would stand to reason that if you're buying them by the millions, that the price has probably gone down over the last 7 years. But what I find more interesting, and what I bet Nintendo is really wanting to push back against more forcefully right now, is the idea that another Switch is coming hot on the heels of the OLED model.
I was about to say, because like the Switch Pro has been like rumored for like probably the last year or so, maybe more than that. And like you know, they haven't properly addressed like the fact that they keep there's like these fake leaks coming out about the Switch Pro, and it's, you know, it's a whole thing. And now they've addressed it and saying, you know, there's no other plans to release a Switch model, an improved Switch model at this time. And you know, the major difference between the OLED and the regular Switch is just the screen on the Switch, and you know, other than the fact that the dock has an Ethernet port now, and I think it's the storage is 64 gigabytes on it. I mean, aside from that, there's really like not that much of a difference between that and the regular Switch. So, you know, I think people are wanting to see like some sort of hardware improvement. So maybe like they can get more powerful looking graphics and performance, and, you know, get games that are like look, you know, it'll look more like, you know, stuff that's around like the PS4, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I still think that's completely coming. I do think that there is still going to be a Switch Pro model introduced probably next year, maybe to coincide with Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever. But I absolutely do not believe that. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago when this was all announced, but I don't believe that the Switch OLED model is actually the Switch Pro that has been rumored for all these months. I do think that's still a separate model that's coming.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not until like next year though. So.
Oh, certainly at this point, I would say next year makes the most sense.
Yeah. The one thing I want to point out that smacks as disingenuous in this whole statement by Nintendo, they're definitely planning to launch another model. I mean, not in the immediate future, but let's not forget that this is Nintendo we're talking about, a company that openly has admitted many, many, many times in the past that as soon as we're done with one console, we're already working on the next one. So, I mean, you're definitely, you know, planning on launching something, but I totally get that they need to keep their investors and stockholders happy, you know, or shareholders happy, and they don't want to, you know, obviously no company wants to say, hey, here's this new thing, but also there's a newer, better thing right around the corner. Like, I mean, I hate that I always bring this example up when we talk about Nintendo, but I have to remind everyone that this is the same company that when Nikkei reported about the DSi was like, we don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't exist. And then within 24 hours announced it. Went on record, denied its existence, then announced it officially the next day. And I'm like, I don't believe anything you say, Nintendo. I love you, but I don't believe you when you talk.
Also, something to note is by this time next year, the Switch will be 5 years old. So I feel like that would be a perfect time to launch a more improved model of it.
Oh, absolutely. So, I agree with that 1,000%. I feel like I agree with Ash. He said, you know, Breath of the Wild 2 would be a great opportunity to launch a new Switch. Splatoon 3, which is also coming next year. Those could be great games to launch a new hardware with. And I just... Man, I mean, bring it on. Like I said, Nintendo, I'll buy your OLED model, then I'll buy whatever the next one is, and probably the one after that. You know, just release it in a different color. I'll probably buy it. I did do that once already. So,
I did that with the Animal Crossing Switch.
I did that, and then I did it with this one too. Like, I can't stop. It's a sickness at this point.
It really is. It really is. It's crazy. I'm holding off on the OLED model because I don't play in handheld that often. So
yeah, me neither. I have no reason to get it because I just play my game stocked, really. So
yeah, same here. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what comes of it. But Nintendo actually commenting on a rumor. That's something.
Cool.
It's so shocking that Ash had to leave.
What is it with these moments of hype during the show and Ash just blinking out of existence for a minute? He's like, ah!
Oh, no.
Oh, God. In the meantime, we did get some super chats. I think Ash is back. Hello.
Sorry, everybody. Discord just crashed on me. Sorry, but sorry, guys.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Just totally
hop
crashed.
On screen.
Yeah, I will.
In the meantime, while Ash gets back here, we got super chats from Jason Uloa, who I missed last time, and I apologize for that, with a $5 donation, saying, better joke, teenager learns curse. Boy, that is a much better one.
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
I like it. And then after that, we got Jared Helder with a $5 Canadian donation. Thank you very much, saying, I was surprised to see so many little adjustments to things like the volume control and the game card slot. Why would they invest time and money in this? Probably because they're going to use the shell of the OLED and then pack the guts full of something else.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That is my pet theory with this whole thing. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Definitely.
And then finally, we got the return of Bongo Lover with a $10 Canadian donation, saying, sorry I missed TNT. I was at the Danimals factory making minion-flavored yogurt. One side effect from the yogurt is sipping up will give you memories of the minions being tortured and Bongo chewing gum. And Bongo chewing them.
That is dark. I appreciate it so much.
Oh my goodness.
Also,
the lore is getting ever deeper.
I want to speculate that Bongo Lover donated Canadian $10 because it comes in minion yellow.
Oh,
yes,
that might have been the case, but then they also donated another $5 Canadian, saying also Sega greenlit the idea of Yakuza like a Danimal with the new protagonist Ichibong Katsugurt of the Danimal
Ichibong Katsugurt.
Man, okay,
this just gets better and better.
I am not gonna lie. I fully expect like a gamer stoner to own like a Ichibong. Like I really have to. I imagine that exists. Also, I now refuse to believe that Bongo Lover is not color coordinating their super chats at this point. They started that with green lit. I'm just saying.
That is true.
Right. Good point. I love that.
Don't you worry. Bongo Lover's lit all right.
Yes.
Coming up.
Oh my God.
With their Ichibong. I want this to be an official product now. I mean, obviously not Bongo related. I want a Yakuza Ichibong. Like an Ichibong.
Yeah, we could get the Ichibon wig that Derek got sent, and then just slap that on a run of the mill bong, and you got it.
Yeah. Oh, I still want one of those. I love that wig.
I don't think Sega would approve.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah.
Well,
just gonna guess.
You know what did get approved? Our next story.
Oh, nice.
Well played.
So, I'm sure a lot of you in the chat will love this. Tencent has acquired somebody else. This time, the Sumo Group from the UK, better known, but which we mainly know as Sumo Digital, and get this, $1.27 billion deal for Sumo Digital, which, I love Sumo Digital. They make some great games. They're the ones that did Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing and Transformed and Team Sonic Racing. They've done Crackdown 3. They've done Sackboy: A Big Adventure recently. They do a lot of really good stuff. Great developer. 1.3 billion? Okay.
Damn.
Right?
That is a lot.
I mean, theoretically, there should be nothing changed about them. It's just, there you go. And as Amy points out, they did do Disney Infinity 3.0, which apparently was when it was really coming into itself. Sumo Digital does good stuff.
Ash, I know why you're laughing, and I was going to let it slide, but
I'm 12 years old. I'm sorry.
You really are. You really are.
That was the main question for me: is does this change anything practically about Sumo's output, or what we can?
I think so.
Tencent,
hopefully not.
really hands off. I mean, I don't know a lot about the company, and that probably is a testament to the fact that they don't put their thumbprint too much on the companies they purchase. I think they're just strategically investing. But, I mean, honestly, I hate to say it, but I would much rather get news that Tencent picked someone up than, say, EA. EA is like the death knell for anybody they acquire.
That is true. At least this way, Sumo Digital will, survive. It should be said that Tencent did have at least a little bit of investment in Sumo Digital before this point. I think they had like 8% control, 8% stock or something like that. However, that's determined. But then they decided to go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, Frequent Positron, you're correct also about Activision. They also suck. But EA has been known for shuttering quite a few studios in their time, too. It's like a dead heat between the two of them for who could be the worst. If Bobby Kotick weren't at Activision, EA might take the cake. But Bobby Kotick probably cut in line and stole their cake.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I hope this doesn't derail their obvious development plans for Sackboy 2, because I just finished playing that game a couple months ago, and it was so good. And I'm like, I hope they make a sequel. So hopefully they're still going to do that.
Is that on PS4?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, because I don't have a PS5.
It's really good.
It is such a good game. And it really doesn't use a lot of the PS5's unique features to great effect. It's probably one of the weaker games in terms of the uniqueness of the PS5. I would say it totally great to pick it up on PS4. My favorite things about that game have nothing to do with the PS5.
I will say I do like the haptics in Sackboy, but they're not anywhere close to the best, example of DualSense haptics on the system for sure.
Right.
And it barely uses the adaptive triggers, so yeah. I mean, it's certainly the game design element of it, like the fantastic level design and the presentation, that'll come through on PS4, of course. And I highly recommend playing it. Yeah. It's really good.
I've picked it up, but I haven't played it yet because I'm basically waiting to play it with Amy. Nice co-op game.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, eventually, but. Yeah, I don't honestly have a whole lot to say on this one, just because, I mean, it's Tencent. They buy things. That's kind of what they do. But they also aren't as destructive as EA and Activision, as we said. But I also don't know...
I don't know anything about them.
Exactly. I don't know what kind of footprint they have or stamp they have on the companies they buy. From what I can tell, really nothing other than the fact that, it's a giant Chinese corporation that owns them now.
Yeah, I really feel like there needs to be a website that you can just punch things in and it'll tell you if they're bad. I literally just Googled, is Tencent
this
bad?
Problematic?
Is Tencent bad? I love it.
Yeah. Just like you can type in something and it'll tell you what's problematic, and you can just sort of like decide for yourself. It's like, okay, that's useful. Thank you.
Yeah. As you said, though, Derek, it doesn't seem as though Tencent acquiring them is going to change anything about them practically in terms of the kinds of things consumers and enthusiasts would care about in terms of what they're making. So hopefully that's the case, because I really like their work.
Apparently, so we have we got some interesting things going on here. So Michael E. in the YouTube chat mentions that Tencent likes to stay apolitical. It makes sense because they probably have some backroom deals with the CCP that aren't great. And then he says everyone in China has to work with the CCP, even TikTok. So there's that. But then Doodle brings up that Tencent helps the Chinese government spy on Muslims in China. So, yeah. It's a corporation. That's what corporations do. They kind of suck in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Corporations are not your friend.
Nope. Not at all.
And just to be sure, just so you know, I think they also own, or at least have a stake in Epic Games, and I think they definitely own Riot Games. So, and we haven't seen any differences there. Mm-hmm. They like we said, they sort of just stay hands off. Mm-hmm. But so nothing too major is going to be different with Sumo Digital. It's just another feather in Tencent's cap.
Right.
Before we move on to the next story, though, we got $2 Canadian donation from Jared Helder. Thank you very much once again, saying, what are your favorite arcade racers for the Switch? I don't think I actually own any.
There aren't a whole lot of them yet, which is part of the problem.
Yeah,
I'm excited for Cruisin'.
Yeah, I was going to say Cruisin'.
I did not play it on
there.
the Switch, but I will say Burnout Paradise is very good.
Yeah, Burnout Paradise is great. I played it back on the 360, but I do want to give a quick shout out to Hot Shot Racing, which is an indie game that's available on all platforms, including the Switch, and it plays really well on Switch. It harkens back to the virtual racing days of arcade racers. Like all the environments all look very low poly, but in a stylized way. It's meant to look like that, and it runs at like a buttery smooth 60 FPS. So if you love arcade racers, definitely check out Hot Shot Racing on Switch.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd really like to know what happened to 90s Super GP, which looked really promising and then disappeared.
Oh, that.
Right.
That's a whole big thing because, they didn't apparently know. Was it 90s Racer?
It was
90s Arcade Racer, I think.
It was originally called 90s Arcade Racer, then got renamed to 90s Super GP, and has been rated as coming soon.
That's been a little shady.
For like 8 years.
The way they've treated their Kickstarter, so.
That's a shame, yeah.
Oh, Jet says Nick
Cruise and Blast is
that explains it.
Oh, yeah.
Were you going to say one, Mattea? Do you know any? I don't even know if you play arcade racers all that much.
I don't really play racing games that much. I play Mario Kart.
There you go.
I guess that counts.
That counts as an arcade.
Mario Kart's an arcade game.
Racer. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. And I've played Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing.
Which is one of the best arcade racers. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sonic and Sega All-Stars Transformed is probably my favorite.
Transformed is really good.
Yeah.
Next up is Skull Kid Tiger with a $2 donation. Says, Steve, not a site to punch in. If bad, just punch.
Man, you know what? That is a service I could get behind. If I could just send a punch to bad people. Like if I could just go to a website and like submit a super chat for like $5 and be like, go punch a Nazi. Just find one.
That just reminds me of
punchanazi.com.
That just reminds me of the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where they have a list of everybody that ever insulted them on the internet, and they go to their house and beat them up.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Bongo Lover with a $5 Canadian donation. This ought to be good. Saying Itchy Bong and his crew fight yogurt-themed Yakuza. His favorite game is also Monkey Quest for the Super Danable system.
I would play this. I am so down for this to be like a DLC offshoot of Like a Dragon. I'm in, man. I'd play this.
Get that theming. Danimal's already worked with Sega before. I guess they'll do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But speaking of Sega, or at least a division of Sega, let's go ahead and move on to our next story.
Mm-hmm.
So, Famitsu has interviewed Atlus's Naoto Hiraoka, it's a senior managing director, and they have revealed quite a few things. For one, they have 5 to 6 projects that they're working on internally, and that rises to 10 if you include Vanillaware and their collaborations with other developers. So, a lot of stuff coming out from Atlus. They also said that, as we spoke about Persona before, their Persona events are planned for both Japan and overseas. They are definitely investing further into Vanillaware games and other Atlus IPs. It's not just Persona. Of course, they're working, as evidenced by the number of titles, they're working on a variety of them. And they're hoping to surprise some people with what they have. I'm not sure what this is, but they also say Project Re-Fantasy is making progress little by little. I don't know what Re-Fantasy is. Jet said bring back Trauma Center? Yes.
Oh. Yes, please bring back Trauma Center. I love that series.
Cool. That would be incredible.
So much.
Yeah.
God, I love that series so much. And I think the last one they did was Trauma Team, which was kind of a bit of a departure for the series, but I still really liked it.
It's not on the Wii?
They bring that back. Yeah, it was on the Wii.
It was, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that underscores just how long it's been.
I think the first one's on the DS, actually.
Yes, and then it got ported to the Wii, which is how I played it.
Oh,
right. Oh, God, I love those games so much. Please bring that series back, Atlus.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that was the only good surgery game. I mean, not that there's a lot, not like it's a burgeoning genre, but
genre, yeah.
I did really, really enjoy those. I got my Wii U hooked up. I should play that again.
It's just nice to see Atlus acknowledging other, like, they're working on other stuff besides Persona because, like, of how, like, I mean, I like Persona. I've played Persona 5, but, like, it's so oversaturated, like everywhere. Like I think there was just a lot of like, especially with like Royal, and then the dancing game, and then Strikers, and then the anime. You know, like
and
I think
they did the same thing with Persona 4.
they did, but it's like you know, I think it's just nice that they're acknowledging they have other franchises that they're working on. So
exactly.
Yeah,
we'll just have to take them at their word.
Because if you haven't, I mean, I know people love 13 Sentinels, which I still need to actually play myself, but
I've heard such good things about it.
Odin Sphere, man. This game is so good. You need to play it. Left Riser remake is the best way to play it. But yeah, that game is fantastic. I enjoyed Muramasa the Demon Blade. I did not
Muramasa's so good.
Muramasa's great. Yeah.
I still prefer Odin Sphere. I did not get as much into their Dragon's Crown, but still fun.
Same.
But
I wouldn't mind seeing another Radiant Historia game. I really loved both Radiant Historia and the remake on 3DS. Really, those are great games.
I'm definitely gonna try out the new Shin Megami Tensei when that comes out.
Yes.
I think it's in November or October, something like that. Yeah.
Same month as Pokemon, which puts a damper on it for me being able to play it.
I am all over Shin Megami Tensei 5. I don't know what it is. I think ever since we saw the main character in the combat system, I've just been... My hype for that went way up.
Have you seen the story trailer for it, Steve?
I did not on purpose, because I was like, I already know that I like the core mechanics of the game. I kind of just have reached that point where I want to go in blind. But I did hear of it. I just chose not to partake.
It looks pretty cool what they're doing, and I'm excited for it as well. Yeah. I should also mention that we did the analysis with Catherine for the trailers from E3, and we put that out there the day of the story trailer.
I was going to say that's how I became aware of it, because I got the usual email when a new video goes live on our channel, and I was like, oh, I should watch this. And then I got an email from Atlus like right after, and it was like, hey, here's a trailer. I was like, that makes sense. That fits with the way the universe works.
That timing.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's
incredible.
Like, it's already so long. That said, I did spend a good chunk of today going through Catherine's script for analysis on that trailer. So you can expect another analysis on SMT soon.
Nice.
Just as soon as we get through that.
Nice.
So, yeah. And trust me, editing that for her is such a crash course in Shin Megami Tensei lore. I know way more about this series now, even though I don't know everything. It's just like, oh my God, there's just so much. And it's the thing that strikes me is it's like you're never really going to get a good ending with these games. It's just what kind of ending fits your play style.
Right.
So we will see. But I do feel like SMT5 could be the one that finally puts the main series on a lot of people's maps, because a lot of people enjoyed SMT4, but with it being on the Switch, I think it might be the one to break out.
It'll be my first one. So
nice.
Do we know if 5 is going to have the easy mode from the 3 remaster?
We don't yet, but I would not be surprised if it does.
Yeah, I would be really shocked if they introduced that for 3 and then we're like, hey, we got rid of it for 5. That would be...
I mean, they might have a better balanced difficulty instead, because I know...
Yeah.
I've told this story many times, but I died in the tutorial in SMT4.
Oh my God. Oh no.
So...
Yeah, I prefer when games have like an easy mode, because honestly, it's like if people just want to like enjoy like the story, but like not have to worry about like the gameplay aspect of it. I mean, and while still enjoying the gameplay, it's just nice to have like an easy mode option. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Completely agree. Yeah.
The thing I don't get, and this is obviously the discourse that flared up on Twitter probably last week, what does it affect other people if an easy mode is in a game you love? Like, what does it...
not... Because you're not playing the way that they intended, except they added it, so they intended that.
What about the poor gatekeepers' feelings?
I mean, fuck gatekeepers, but
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I have never understood.
The Fire Emblem Three Houses gatekeeper takes offense to that. He is amazing. And I will not suffer any slander.
Like I'm currently streaming Kingdom Hearts 1 on my Twitch channel, and I'm playing that in easy. And to be honest, like I played the game before in normal mode and I had a hard time with it, but playing it on easy mode, I'm actually kind of enjoying it more, and like I'm more invested in like the story and whatnot. And it's like, you know, it just is how I feel comfortable, you know.
Yeah, you
know?
can tell.
That's how Amy played Persona 5 and she loved it. Like she still found it a lot of fun.
You can tell the people who level this criticism at people who want to play games on easy mode have never created literally anything ever. Like, I'm not comparing making videos like we're doing right now to making games. Those are completely different scales of creating things. But there is still that feeling of wanting to get the thing you make into the hands of as many people as possible, because obviously you made a thing, you love this thing you made, and you want other people to also share that love for that thing you made. So easy mode is just one more way of doing that. And when people say, oh, it's not the way it was intended, it absolutely was. It 1000% was, because developers don't just like, it's not one rogue developer being like, I'll show you, I'll make an easy mode. It is literally meetings upon meetings upon meetings and teams of people working to make this happen. And I just anybody who argues against that has never made anything and has never managed a single project of value in their life. Because the other part of that is, you know, the other common refrain is, oh, well, this took away from them making other stuff for the game. We would have had more content if not for this easy mode. No, you're wrong. Like the director of the game mapped all this out at the beginning.
Exactly. Like it's also just like you know, as a disabled person myself, like it's another accessibility option that, you know, I think a lot of people don't really understand like how it can be accessible to certain people. So like easy modes in video games. So
I mean, we don't have it in the story, but as a story, but they did announce that Great Ace Attorney Chronicles will have an option to just literally watch the story play out.
Oh, no, actually, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and I'm going to piggyback off what Steve said and go further and say that I think gatekeeping and that kind of mentality also belies just a lack of meaningful accomplishments in one's life. Because if you're if you're hanging that much of that something that emotional, that much of your reputation on, oh, I beat this game on the hardest mode with, you know, in one life, or whatever the fuck you want to say. If that's really if that's really what matters most to you, and you're that worried about people playing games on easier difficulties, taking some of that shine away from you, then that speaks to a much larger problem about not having other accomplishments that have nothing to do with what difficulties you beat a video game on, and trying to shut that down for other people.
I mean,
but do something cool.
Beating the game, if that's the thing you're proud of, it doesn't get diminished in some way because there's a different way to do it. Like because there's a different way to play it. Like you can still be proud that you beat a game on hard, right? Like Derek beat Final Fantasy VII Remake on hard. I don't go, well, bro, I did the same thing on medium. Fuck you. Like it's not like I'm proud of the fact.
I beat on easy.
Exactly.
And that's fine. Like we all have different
that
ways.
I wanted to do that challenge and wanted to see it.
And that's great.
It's only because it added something extra to it that made me invest it, because usually I don't bother. But for whatever reason.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just love a game and you want to see everything there is to see. I don't love 99% of games that much. I mean, it is that 1% of games that I really enjoy to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to literally take everything out of this game. Like Ocarina of Time. I did that. Red Dead Redemption. I did that. Like, or Red Dead Revolver. Sorry. No, Red Dead Redemption 1. I keep forgetting there's 2 of them now. I played Red Dead Redemption 1 to death. You know, I was like, I got to find that last cougar. Like, I mean, I won't do that on every game, but I definitely did it for that one. So I get it. I mean, there is value if that's how you want to play, but don't begrudge other people playing a game the way they want to play it. Who cares? Like, it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't, like, Phil Spencer doesn't, like, log into your Xbox and take your trophy away. He's like, sorry, this is worth a little less now because there's an easy mode. Gonna put this back in the cabinet.
Yeah. I mean, if you're
we've harped on it enough. You know, we need to keep going because we've got our point across, guys. So let's go ahead and move on.
For sure.
If you see me bending down like a bit, my cat is right underneath me. So,
well, no worries.
If you have an ability to raise said cat, I'm sure the audience would appreciate the share.
He'll like it. Okay.
Hey, you got a kitty now.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, look at so adorable.
Yeah, his name is Mochi.
Mochi, I love that. I love that.
Very cool.
Cute.
Before moving on, we do have a few more super chats. Where first up is from Hendrix Trog with a $5 donation saying, "Have you all played the Silver Case 2425, the Switch port, in the lead up to No More Heroes 3? Finally got to play the Silver Case, and I really loved it." Steve?
I want to play the Silver Case, but I'm on such an emotional roller coaster with No More Heroes 3 in the run up to like I haven't played it. I haven't played it at all. I hope to soon, because we're not that far away. But like I saw. So y'all remember the showcase, and it looked real rough. And then they released a bunch of videos on Twitter that looked great. And then they released a bunch more videos that look really bad. Like the game is running at like 15 FPS. I'm like, this is an official marketing video too. So my hype for No More Heroes 3 is like all over the place. And
this game's going to be just a rough on you, Steve.
I know.
I feel like I don't know if it's going to be perfect. It's going to be one of those things. I love this. I hate this. I love this. I hate this. And what are you going to fall in the end?
I have a feeling it's going to be a very interesting experience. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can hear him purring, but he's purring very loudly right now. I'll put him close to me.
Quite, but
happy cat.
Yeah.
He looks very satisfied.
He is very sad. He's a sweetie.
Next up is let's see here, Klaxond. Yes, Klaxond. We'll make sure I didn't miss anything. According to DualShockers, Project ReFantasy is a fantasy RPG project by Studio Zero, a studio in Atlus made up of core devs of Persona 3, Persona 4, Catherine, and Persona 5. And there is some artwork here from this article that shows like a fantasy character. Honestly, it kind of looks like a redheaded elf Aegis in classic armor, and that artwork is amazing. So yeah. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out on that one because that's cool. Then there's Jared Helder with a $2 Canadian donation saying, "I relied on cheat codes playing all the GTAs. That's probably why you beat it and I did not." Let's see. Asking for the art. Hold on 1 second. I can pop it in over here for you.
And thank you, as always, everybody, for your incredible donations. Thank you a million times.
Thank you so much. And let's go ahead and jump over to our final story of the night, one that I think Mattea will enjoy.
Yeah.
So, it's been said by Square Enix president Yosuke Matsuda that Dragon Quest XII will shape the next 10 to 20 years of the series, which could be good, could be bad. Really don't know. It's not really a whole lot said. It's just from a Famitsu interview. And literally all he says is Dragon Quest XII is being developed taking into account the next 10 to 20 years of the Dragon Quest series. There are parts that remain consistent with traditional image of Dragon Quest, but new elements are also necessary. After all, as a brand, we always need to innovate. Which is funny because I don't think of Dragon Quest and innovation that much.
Right.
They're classic to a fault.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what they have in mind for like changing up the series because I mean, like, 11 had very much like it was its own game, but it like relied a lot on classic JRPG tropes, and like the series itself is like what people referred to as the grandfather of all JRPGs. So it would be interesting to see like the direction they take Dragon Quest XII in. I know it's like going for a more darker adult tone than previous games, so that's already like a departure from 11. Even though 11 did have some really dark moments in it, but it was all around like a very it wasn't like I think it didn't push itself like to like really mature levels. So
it's definitely been talking to other basically Ted and Catherine and talking to them, it seems like Dragon Quest is like a culmination of everything the series done up to this point. So it kind of makes sense for 12 to just sort of try to evolve beyond that. But I also just didn't expect it because Dragon Quest innovates, but in very small ways.
Yeah,
well, I think Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking, because, like, I know, like, yes, it does innovate in very small ways, but it definitely, like, it's kept a very consistent, formula, especially, like, with the combat system, it's been, like, the same for almost every Dragon Quest game, where, like, it's, a turn-based combat system with, you command your party to do different attacks and whatnot. So I'm curious to see, like, if they're going to, like, have it be more of, like, they're gonna have the turn-based combat, or they're gonna have it, like, switch to more action combat, like Final Fantasy VII Remake comes to mind for that.
Right. I think that's the real question here. Is, they did say during the Dragon Quest, the recent stream, the anniversary stream, that they're making some tweaks to the combat system, and I know a lot of hardcore Dragon Quest fans would be understandably upset if that means that they are going from that traditional turn-based combat system to something more actiony. Not that there's anything wrong with that in a vacuum, but Dragon Quest is known for old school. It's known for kind of refining what works for it and not trying too many new things. And that could be both good and bad. But as Watcher TL says, I don't know the source on this, but Watcher TL in the YouTube chat says commands are still a factor. They said that much. I don't remember them saying that, but they very well may have said that.
Yeah.
And I hope so, because I don't know if action RPG Dragon Quest spin-offs, totally cool. But I don't know if I'd want to see mainline Dragon Quest go action, just because it's known for being an old school turn-based JRPG.
Right.
And Dragon Quest XI's proved that you can stick to that really old school style, but build something that is at the top of its class on top of that old school base.
But I think if they want to keep, I think it's known for that. But I think and I think that's what makes the series niche. But I think they want to try and bring in like a different audience to this new game. So I think it'd be good to like change things up a bit and not keep things too samey, like for every Dragon Quest game. So I would like to see what they do with this new battle system and like the tone and direction they take this game in, and like I'm still expecting there to be like lighthearted, funny moments and puns everywhere and everything, and the monsters looking the same. The Toriyama art style is such a classic one, so I think those are there to stay. But I'm wondering like in what ways the game is going to take a different direction in. So
I'm not the biggest Dragon Quest person. I haven't played most of the games. I keep telling myself I'm going to play 11, but that's another story. But I do think, playing devil's advocate here, I think that Final Fantasy VII Remake also proves that you can take something that worked insanely well as a traditional JRPG and kind of transmute it into something else that still feels every bit as satisfying. And I'm kind of hopeful that we see something similar for Dragon Quest XII, that we get something more akin to like the kind of pseudo action RPG that we got with 7 Remake, but in an adventure that is one, self-contained, because I'm probably going to be 85 before we're done with Final Fantasy VII, and that is feels more epic in scale. But I will say my fear, and this is a completely unfounded fear, but when I look at the logo for Dragon Quest XII, I'm like, please don't take it out of like the bright, colorful world that that I think a lot of folks associate with Dragon Quest. I still want that beautiful, like, colorful adventure. It doesn't need to be dark and gritty. I saw somebody, saying they hope it doesn't look like Final Fantasy Origins. Same.
Exactly.
I don't think it will, because I'm trying to think of the darkest and grittiest of Toriyama's style, and it never really, like, what do you think of, Steve? Because I can't imagine
when I think of darkest and grittiest. So I think of 2 examples. I think of the Future Trunks like side story, which was like a dystopia where everyone was dead. And then I also think of Chrono Trigger, like the future in Chrono Trigger, where the world is just polluted and nasty and gross. And I'm like, yeah, those are both like different. Yeah. They're Toriyama, but they're definitely like a gray kind of, uninviting world.
Which is what you don't normally associate with Toriyama's, his art. It's more associated with like, making everything more colorful and animated and not like dark and gritty. So I'm just like, and I don't think they're gonna pull away from that with this new Dragon Quest game. It's just like how they're gonna incorporate like the darker themes into it while still maintaining the same style. So
yeah.
Helen hated Stingo. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, somebody asked, is it confirmed to be Toriyama? And yes, if you see Bird Studio, Toriyama's involved.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of how, dark and gritty DQ12 might get, hopefully not too much, Helen Hated Stingo in our live audience patron chat says, I look forward to the dark story of 12 having a villain menacingly cast Kafrizzle to kill a man.
There you go.
I was going to say, I think Toriyama has been involved in most Dragon Quest things. I think the only thing he's not really involved in is the Dai manga. And the anime and manga for that, which I think is illustrated by. I mean, it's obviously inspired by Toriyama's style, but it's like the manga illustrator is different for that. So.
Oh god!
And as the Doodle brings up, there are ways to take a turn-based RPG and still change it up while keeping a turn-based RPG. We'll have to see. I mean, they could go as simple as, well, Final Fantasy's barely using it anymore in traditional RPGs. We're going to take that active time battle system now and use that, or use the Grandia system or what have you, and that'll definitely change things up. Story-wise, I mean, they could start it out dark and gritty and have it like, it's apocalypse, but you're trying to restore the world, and
that would be cool.
Get all that going.
That would be cool.
It's one of those things. There's a lot of different ways they could take this. I'm like, it's hard for me to get one way or the other until I see more than just a logo. But 11 sold me at this point. I want to see this game.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna pick it up.
Definitely. Like, I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about the last 3 games that they announced for the anniversary presentation. Like, I am so hyped for like the 3 HD 2D remake. Looks gorgeous.
Yes, I'm excited so hyped for that.
As an Eric fan, because he's like my favorite party member. I'm excited for Treasures. That looks adorable. And I've known about that game for years when it was it got announced as like a Dragon Quest Monsters game, but I think they decided to go in a different direction with it. So I
wanna have a few beers with Eric. He just seems like such a cool guy. I just want to go out and have a few beers with him. I just love that character so much.
So, I'm definitely very excited as a new Dragon Quest fan, because I haven't been like a huge fan for as long as like others have. But
I'm still like, I've known of the series for a while, but it's taken me a while to actually play a lot of them. So still working on that, honestly. But I'm working through. Well, I finished 8 a little bit ago. I loved that. That is I'm actually playing that myself right now. So
and I kind of want to play 5 next, because I know that game is like considered one of the best in the series. So
right,
I've heard the same.
I just want to fulfill a random request here in the YouTube chat. Nick Alexander says, Ash, when you get the chance, can you please say enthusiasts? Well, there you go. Enthusiasts. Don't know why you wanted me to say it, but I said it.
It's because I say it enthusiast.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I say it the same way as Derek.
That's funny. Okay, I say enthusiast.
I say it the same way.
Got it. That's fine.
Yeah.
It trips the curse word sensor in my brain to hear it with a soft A. That man just said ass.
Ass.
I am 12.
Well, with that said, I think that'll pretty much cover it for all the major headlines from today's news. But before we sign off, Mattea, where can everybody here find you at?
Okay. Well, I am a Twitch streamer, so you can catch my streams at twitch.tv/illuMattea. You can see me play lots of Nintendo games. I focus a lot on Zelda because that's my favorite series. I also play some JRPGs, some indie games, some sim games, like Animal Crossing. I'm currently playing through the first Kingdom Hearts game, so that's pretty fun. But you can also find me on Twitter at illuMattea, and I also post on TikTok every now and then, so you could catch me there at illuMattea. So just find my just search illuMattea, and you should be able to find me. So
yep, we have her links in the description as well, so definitely check her out. And
yes,
she does a lot of fun content, and glad to have you back on.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me back on.
Of course.
Thank you.
Hey, we're happy to have you here.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we could get Dragon Quest in there for you.
Yeah. No, I as soon as I saw that on the dock, I was just like, oh my god. I no wonder you got me in today.
All right. Well,
really quick. I meant to answer this earlier. Sorry, Derek. You Nutterkami posted this way back at the beginning of the show. Obviously, there was no Fall Guys Season 5 in today's show, but if I can, I'm going to try to work a little mention of it into Wednesday's show. So no promises, but I'm excited.
Ash has control on Wednesday. This
exactly. Exactly.
It's weird how on Mondays and Fridays we don't go to Proto Dude's Rockman Corner.
Right. Weird that, right?
Uh-huh.
Or how PSO2 ends up on the thumbnail on my day.
Yeah.
It's almost like we play favorites. Man, we talk about RPGs a lot when I host. That's weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we sign off, I do want to give a special thanks to all of our patrons, big and small. Your support really does mean the world to us and helps us out a ton, and especially those at our producer tier, as this show just would not be possible without all of you. So thank you so much. And also, finally, a massive, massive thank you to our executive producers and above, and that includes Jared Edinger, Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Itiono Ben, Dan Inchwhistle, Dennis J, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Adam O'Sullivan, It's ATM, Octopuppet, Richard Herrera, Michael Foam, Echo Carol, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Kitty Kong Fax, Angel Martinez, Vedran Hotik, 112, John, Joshua Hunter, at Evernight Studio, Benny Yao, Sapphire, Azran127, Pagrama, Ken Roulette 09, Jake Pelka, Geller, Joseph Rutkin, Charlie Bird, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Orem M, Brady Power, Sakuragi, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Fizzy Wighoid, Critmonger, The Legend of Groose, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, West Egg, Deaneth, Kota, Michael McCall, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straightlace, Justin Matthews, Hoobie, Too Much Spaghetti, Mega Conrad, Ascaron 809, Kane, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, Christopher Masterson, Spicy Pandaughter, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Grantles, Ravelox, Synchro Lord, Brainchild, Rosa Bowling, Kotar Peck, Scuff196, Skull Kid Tiger, AJB Cool, Blizzica, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Cystic Warrior 29, Derek, Ray Clausen Jr., Nathan the Voice Actor, Hulkamaniac 55, GBJ, Bongo Lover, Mumbling Yeti, and Cameron Sharp. Thank you all so much. Before we do a final sign-off, though, we did get one more super chat from Zaire Miller with a $4.99 donation saying, what game got you into a genre? For me, it was Danganronpa for VN Adventure Games. Now just finished Umineko, and now my favorite story ever. Real quick, Final Fantasy VII got me into RPGs. Ash.
Oh, God. Deus Ex Human Revolution got me into stealth games.
Steve.
Phantasy Star got me into JRPGs.
Mattea.
Fire Emblem got me into JRPGs.
Nice. And remember that you too can become a patron over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can get access to our exclusive post-show and ad-free content for as little as $5 a month. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more good times like these. Until next time, good night and good vibes.
Bye everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Hi, Mom. Bye, Mom.